Back in Vernon, Florida for the second semifinal for the national championship for high school 8-man football. The Pack Panthers await either the Fort Wayne Crusaders all the way up from Indiana or the five-time defending national champions in the Evangel Christian School Lightning for an epic bout set to happen here just outside of Panama City Beach. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Brendan Daniel. Jamie Martinez joins us on the sidelines. Proud to be with you in Vernon, Florida. Brendan, we've been on call for a couple of national champions to last year, but it's certainly one of these matchups that will be good regardless.
And they have enough depth on their team, honestly. So, I mean, it's the next guy up as always. But Tri-State, I mean, they're a difficult team to handle. When I looked at their stats, they're pretty good guys. Defense, they're very well coached and very determined to win this game today.
Pack Panthers await the winner. And already we start with an onside kick. It went 10 yards, and it looked like the Crusaders may have fallen on it. It went the full 10-yard distance. They could touch it there, and we're waiting for a signal. I think the Lightning retained it. It almost looked like if it had been fallen on, and we haven't gotten an official signal here. The Lightning got it, saved itself, and we will head first to our sideline reporter in Jamie Martinez.
Hello everyone, welcome down to the field for our second semifinal matchup of the day between the Evangel Christian Lightning and the Fort Wayne Kings Crusaders. The Lightning are looking to win their 6th straight national championship with their quarterback, Kemp Swords. On the other hand, the Crusaders are entering their first tournament in program history and are looking to send shockwaves through tournament history with an upset over the Lightning. Spencer, back to you.
8-1 overall for the Crusaders on the season. Thank you, Jamie, and he's right, absolutely right. First appearance they've had in the NHSA tournament, and make that 5th of the season, and what a way to start out.
And that's amazing because Kemp Swords rarely has any interceptions, and that one right there is probably going to cost them and probably move the momentum over to Tri-State Crusaders.
And you could hear on mic or Jamie saying that's crazy automatically in the first play, and you wonder, there's a smidge amount of wind that's coming into factor here. You wonder between that and the rain if it had a factor, because Kemp Swords usually does not do that. On his passing game, he has only 5 interceptions on the year. Make that now 6, and a great start for the secondary of the Crusaders, especially considering they get the ball to start the second half. Long way to go until we get to then, but we'll see the offense for Fort Wayne start out, and it'll be a run up the middle and weaving out of several tackles. There's the star, D. Lewis, the senior. Took a lot of players to bring him down, and now to the 36.
D. Lewis is a big running back, and he's following his block just like I was supposed to. Look at that. Everybody's covered, but he's also not very easy to bring down. The Evangel's going to have to work on their tackling if they're going to get this team to stop.
Moving the chains to the 37-yard line for a new 1st and 10 as the Fort Wayne Crusaders. This is one of those situations you don't want to say it's that they have nothing to lose, but in this case, we were talking with Coach Barkman pregame. It's a lob in the backfield. Carry by D. Lewis gets to about the 31-yard line. We were talking with Coach Barkman before the game, and he was talking with James on Extreme Talk on Sunday, and he mentioned this kind of mantra of the Evangel Lightning are very good. They are. This is a caliber team they haven't faced before, and he also felt like the potential of like numbers issues. Because I asked him about it, you mentioned there was the number difference in rotating. He said, just look at our guys, because he's asking him about rotating everybody. But you could tell this sort of sense that Coach Barkman didn't feel stressed at all with this matchup. Felt very calm and poised as this is lobbed forward to Leighton Kolb, who's going to push up for the first down just outside the 20.
He just seemed like one of those coaches that are just confident enough in his guys to maybe pull this upset. And honestly, the way he was talking, I believe him.
Plenty of game to go. The Fort Wayne Crusaders on the last rankings for the NHSA number 7, the Evangel Lightning number 1 all season long. None of their losses have come from, no losses this year, including the 12-0 overall, 4-0 in the ACSC, winning the championship 41-14 against the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors, who were number 3 ranked at the time. And both teams had a lot of quality wins on that matchup, and Evangel, it was a battle managed to overcome it and win yet another ACSC championship. First time back-to-back in a while, and no sack there for Corbin White. Tackled down for the sack the second time. Grady Watkins with his fifth and a half sack on the season.
And that was just great concentration by himself, just able to get there and just hold that quarterback in. He's going to be tough to bring down. He's not going to be an easy guy for. He's a big fella.
Loss of about 10 yards on the play. From the 26-yard line. And pressure again, tries to pass it forward. The catch is made. D. Lewis will get the reception. And he's got some space. D. Lewis headed to the end zone. Touchdown for the Crusaders.
And that's just offense awareness by D. Lewis. Watch us this play. The quarterback is sacked, and there's no one there, but D. Lewis is able to catch that ball in midair, almost hit the ground, and just runs off with a touchdown.
You talk about the right way to start off against a team, capitalizing on the interception.
It's perfect. Tri-State wouldn't ask for a better situation right now. I mean, you get the interception, you come straight back to them and get a touchdown. Now get this 2-point conversion, you're up 8 points easily.
Corbin White, keeper for the 2-pointer, trying to go through and will be short of the goal line. What a start for the Fort Wayne Crusaders, 6-0 with 8:33 left to go in the first quarter. We'll see if the Evangel Lightning offense can respond. The fans travel well for the Fort Wayne Crusaders. Coach Barker talked about that on Sunday and how they rented a charter team bus to be able to bring them all here. And same for the Evangel Lightning. I'm sure we'll get a shot of the crowd at some point. And a lot of Evangel Lightning fans here. And a squib kick that bounces down to about the 22-yard line and is picked up by Caleb Austin. And there's a flag down at around the 40-yard line as Caleb Austin is trying to weave through defense here, and he's brought down at the 25. We'll check the flag. Our referee is Nate Starr. Been on call for the national championship, at least since we've been down here from 2019 forward. This crew, a lot of familiar faces. As this will bring it back. They'll spot it at about the 14, they'll get it at the 13-yard line. A lot of distance for Evangel to head down with. Coach Smith was talking about that about his team to us pregame, in that it was one of the first years that he's had where it felt like the team was down. They had some people kind of banged up and having some issues in that regard, but you also have this kind of mantra with Evangel. We'll get to that in a moment. Keeper by Kemp Swords goes up for a couple of yards. They've always had this cool mantra to them where they never express overconfidence. They always feel like every matchup is going to be a challenge, and that's really kind of benefited them. You know, some teams could sometimes call it, rat poison in a sense, and for one team could equate to either the Alabama or Georgia of 8-man football. They always keep this calm, poised manner to them.
It's just because they've been here, 5 times and now 6. I mean, at this rate, you might as well just act like you've been here, and that's why I bet the coaches tell them.
And here's an opening up the middle for a big rush. That's still on his feet is Caleb Austin. Down the sideline, shoved out at about the 45-yard line. Caleb Austin on the season, 650 rushing yards. Tack on some more.
And perfect blocking by the Evangel. This team is just well coached.
From the 44-yard line. They'll hand it off this time to Colton DeRoe. And Colton DeRoe has a little bit of space, has the blockers. Colton DeRoe to the outside. He is brought down by Isaiah Castro. But Colton DeRoe, he himself almost has around 350 rushing yards on the season.
And that's just power running by Thoreau, just able to get out there. He's another one of those big weapons. Evangel is one of those teams where it's like everybody puts in. There's not one person on that team that doesn't do work.
There's the carry up the middle. DeRoe again. They'll trust him, and it pays off very well. Touchdown, Evangel. Touchdown number 4 on the season for Colton DeRoe, the senior.
Big win in the trenches, and everybody has their assignment, and everybody's blocking.
Great response by the Evangel Lightning. Their offensive coordinator, Hagen Joyner, initially announced he was not going to return. We asked him about it pregame, and he mentioned that Coach Smith called him out, convinced him, really passionate about the team and these players. Direct snap for Kemp Swords up the middle, and he is short, so tied at 6-all. But Coach Joyner, he was planning on going back, you know, his wife, they're planning on having, I believe they had their...
Sure, that's a blessing to have him back. I mean, he's a great coach, great offensive coordinator. We saw a couple years ago when he coached the JV how great he was as a head coach himself.
Yeah, it was the Evangel Blue Lightning, I believe, last year, 2021, where he was the head coach of that team in the Division II bracket, where they won Division II and Division I, and Coach Joyner Company, they afterwards were wondering where their trophy was. There's no trophy for Division II, so they just had teams coming down in that regard, and they were like, well, our JV team won the trophy. You see the Evangel crowd travels very well. You could see us a little bit up top on the camera shot. We're up here on Eagle's Nest, I would say, or the Jackets' Nest, with this being a home of the Vernon Jackets.
Let's just call it the Hornets' Nest.
Christopher Staniscavage hits it on the kickoff, and a potential turnover on the kickoff. Rough return, but good recovery by Zamari Terry, and we'll see the Crusaders try to respond. And the other challenge you think about with the lack of depth that the Crusaders have, at least in comparison to the event.
Yeah, but usually when you have a team like this, you're working on you're working on your stamina, your conditioning. You're probably running these boys to death, but when you get to moments like this against a tough competitive team like Evangel, you don't have anything to worry about because you were trained for this.
On the 27-yard line in their own territory, the Crusaders on their first offensive play of this drive, pressure, and will just throw it into the dirt, but receiver in the area. And you have some Evangel fans wanting to call for intentional grounding. You see Nate Starr pointing to the receiver in the area. Has to be really egregious on the intentional grounding for anything like that to happen.
Yeah, but the quarterback is smart enough just to see where his wide receiver is and throw it straight to the ground. He's a smart quarterback so far. Let's hope he doesn't take any risk.
Brings up a 2nd and 10. You know, Corbin White on the year, QBR of 113.2, 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, almost 1,000 passing yards. He's been the star senior for the Crusaders on this season. Pass across the middle, incomplete, and Leighton Cole was the intended target, and you're the Evangel fans hyped up about that, and sometimes it looks kind of bad in real time on those hits, but that was just a good football play.
Yeah, speak for yourself. Those hits do hurt. I've been there before in the backyard with no pads on, so I can only imagine how he feels with pads on.
Oh, he'll have to have some stiffness, Wiggy. 3rd and 10. Corbin White keeps it himself, trying to push through this defensive line, nothing doing. They had the option.
Yeah, they feel confident that that quarterback's going to keep it as long as they keep them all surrounded.
Brings up a 4th and 10 from the 27-yard line. See the Crusaders likely punt it away. D. Lewis backfield to punt it. Nobody back deep for the Evangel Lightning. Actually, looks like they will go for it on 4th and 10. Maybe try to fake something out. And they will send Will Welch back somewhat to at least go for the ball, and opting not to touch it is Welch. And Tyler Schiffens will touch it down at the 36-yard line. And the Evangel Lightning offense will get back to work. Evangel offense, we also talked to Coach Joyner about how Will Welch was the starting quarterback last year. They kind of changed things up, and Jamie had a good point where he was when we were talking to Coach Joyner about the stats speak for themselves on Swords, and Coach Joyner agreed, and that absolutely, he's been doing really well this year.
And he even mentioned this is his first dual threat quarterback, which I'm kind of shocked because seeing how Evangel plays, they love to run the ball, but those stats do tell the truth. Sword is a great quarterback.
As he keeps it and has an opening to the left side. Kemp Swords in free space, heading all the way. About a 70 on another one, and a 12-6 lead for the Lightning.
And I don't know if that was just the play they called or he just went with it, because he did kind of have a missed snap and he just took that ball and ran with it.
One of the better things you see from the Evangel Lightning offense over the years is that they have the distinct ability to adapt to whatever sort of situations happen. It's rare to see mistakes from this Evangel team. Of course, saw it earlier that the Crusaders capitalized on, but you have a sort of resiliency and comeback from them. And Young one in coverage. It was attempted on Cade Joyner. 12-6. It's left to just a touchdown lead with Kemp Swords taking it about 65 yards. About 5:33 left to go in the first quarter as coaching staff thinking it over. And you see also the difference with the teams you have here in Florida. The Crusaders were starting out going as independent and more a coalition of homeschool players from the church organization there up in Fort Wayne, and only team without headsets on. And you have to see, like with teams like Evangel, Tennessee Heat got headsets recently. The Pack Panthers even have them. They have the coaches up top. It adds a whole different layer to that kind of up top perspective as Stannis Cabbage gets it away, and another muff snap and another recovery by Zamari Terry. Waters getting into play on those kind of kickoffs for him.
Yes, as you said, I mean, as soon as you start to build up this football program, I mean, you're off already to a great start, as they only lost one game, I believe. So if that's the case, not only are you getting players to look at that and be like, oh, they've only lost one game. They're well coached. They're a great team. It won't be too long before they get everything they need.
Only loss on the season was on the road against the Holgate Tigers, 21-8, and that was the lowest amount of points that they scored throughout the entire season. Rest of the time, they were in the double digits margin, most of the time around 15 or above. And they start out this offensive drive from the 27-yard line. Fake in the backfield, under pressure again, brought down for the sack. That's Clay Stanton and Hayden Black teaming up. Both of them have sacks. Make that Hayden Black to go to 1.5 sacks on the season. Make that to Stanton.
Just getting covered and let that man free, and it's an easy sack.
It's not even, he weaved through two guys who were blocking him. They were trying to sandwich him together, and he just weaved through.
Hey, that's a well-taught defensive line play right there. If you know how to get to a double team, hey, no problem.
Second and long. They have a little bit of trickery here, trying to lob it back. It looks like Kolb was looking for an option to lob it back, but loss of several yards for a third down.
Sometimes with a trick play like that, if you see a whole bunch of jerseys that are not yours, just take that ball and run it.
4 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 3rd and long. You still see Coach Barkman coordinating the play. And looks like he's going to Nate Starr. Nate Starr showing us respect with another TV timeout. 4:04 left to go in the first quarter. .404 left to go in the first quarter as the Crusaders face a 3rd and 20. And get the video issues fixed for you in a moment. Radio play-by-play as usual when this happens. In the backfield, shotgun scramble here for Corbin White. He's got some free space trying to go forward. Brought down from behind at the 26-yard line by the Evangel senior Grady Watkins, who's had 37 total tackles on the year. Had 7 solo tackles heading into today and 8 to force a 4th and 13.
And just a smart run by the quarterback, just able to get out there when he feels all pressure through him.
In the first quarter on a 4th and 13. And this one is a high up punt that will bounce all the way out to about the 42-yard line is where they'll spot a good field advantage for the Evangel Lightning to start out, as they could potentially do more damage here as they lead by 6 in this semifinal. Last couple of years, the magical run for the Evangel Lightning began in 2018 on the mountain in Dayton, Tennessee. Normally the tournament in Florida, they had to move it up to the cold winter weather due to Hurricane Harvey, I believe it was. A lot of hurricanes that have happened down in 36-20, and it started from there. A flea flicker. Kemp Swords is going to toss it to the left side, and just out of the hands of Will Welch. A little bit of
too, so I'm sure he was just trying to figure out a way to get rid of that ball real quickly before he was sacked.
3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and continuing on that story, the 2019, the Lightning almost didn't have this streak. They only won by a 2-point conversion in overtime, 92-90 against the Ezel Harding Christian School Eagles, which was a heartbreaker for Ezel Harding in that regard after winning their state championship, as pitch to Cade Joyner is going to go up to about the 35-yard line for a gain of a handful of yards. And then 2020, the Lightning heard the stories about Ezekiel Academy, went up by 2 touchdowns on call for that, and went up 13-0, and did not a single score was allowed by the Knights. Lightning went up and won the rest of the game, outscored them 40-0 through the rest of the competition. And then 2021, the Freedom Cowboys faced them. And then 2022, 33-12 the first time, and 55-26 last year. Toss right. Trying to fix the video issues. We'll make sure to get those handled for you as the contest progresses. Fourth down, a punt for Will Welch, and he's actually going to fake it. Welch to the right side. The catch is made. Reed Castleberry, the junior, with his first catch of the season, and it comes on a fake punt.
That was a beautiful spot about Will Welch, just able to sidearm it. Just look at it. Whoop, you thought it was a punt. Perfect catch, perfect throw. And heck, it's like he said, Will Welch was the quarterback.
He still got it.
Use any weapons by any means possible.
A little bit of trickery from the offensive coordinator, Hagen Joyner, as they head to the 35-yard line to continue this drive. And motion Austin out to the left. Motion in Welch. And a keeper by Kemp Swords to the outside. Heading to the end zone. Another touchdown for the Lightning.
And what a good fake play. Watch as he just fakes this play action here. And then it's just wide open range. No one's home.
And you have unfortunately, you saw one of the Crusaders was limping off of the field on the sideline. And if he went back to the bench, he's going to be looked at by the training staff. Or maybe he's still back in the game. But a 2-point conversion attempt coming up. 2-point conversion attempt here for the Lightning, and a carry up the middle. 2-point conversion is good by Colton Rowe. Let's head back down. Jamie Martinez.
The offense has been dominant. The run game is as good as ever, and Kemp Swords with another. Let's see how this game goes down. Spencer, back to you.
That's absolutely right on that, Jamie. The Lightning offense is starting to look like what we normally see, and that's another thing that happens with the Evangel Lightning. We talked about it in the 2020 National Championship where Ezekiel Knights went up on them by 2 scores, and once that happened, it was just lights out, and you're seeing just all Evangel Lightning right now.
And all it takes is a chin up. I mean, sure, you get one interception, but at the second hand, if you just come back and score and act like nothing's happened, which Sword has done, this is what happens.
And they're going to try an onside kick attempt of their own. And it does go 10 yards. The ball is loose, and it's fallen on by Will Welch. It went the 10-yard distance before being touched, and the Lightning get the recovery.
What can this kid, Will Welch, not do? I mean, honestly, fake me out because I thought they were just going to kick it, and then he waited long enough and got that ball perfectly where he needed. He even bounced it to himself.
More trickery. We have trickery on offense and on special teams. Maybe you'll see some on defense later on, but Evangel Lightning looking as if they have defended their national championship 5 times. Again, last year, a more one-sided victory, 55-26 against the Freedom Cowboys. The same thing, 33-12 against the same team from Huntsville. And right now, looking one-sided here, they did this to the Tennessee Heat last year in the semifinal. He was 49-0 outscoring them. And a little bit of motion to lob this out to Cade Joyner. Cade Joyner trying to go through a flag thrown in the backfield by Nate Starr. You can see Coach Barkman from the other side saying the defense, just calm down, settle down. It's not gonna be any major issues. 1st and 20. 25 seconds left in this opening quarter. Swords looking for the option deep across the middle, and the catch is made in the bucket to Clay Stanton to the 30-yard line.
And a perfect over-the-shoulder throw. The wide receiver had to be a little patient because he's just going a little too fast for the ball. But it's perfect catch, perfect throw. Reason why Kemp Swords is one of the best quarterbacks out here.
And that is going to take us to the end, the first 12 minutes in the semifinal. Great start for the Crusaders. The Evangel Lightning have gone on a 20-0 run since those first points are put on the board from the Crusaders. Back in a few moments here from Vernon, Florida. Started the second quarter here in Vernon, Florida. 45. And the Fort Wayne Crusaders. Quick toss on the right side to Will Welch, who's got a first down. And how about a little bit more from Will Welch? So hard to bring him down. Same case whenever he would run the ball last year at the quarterback position, and now it's a 1st and goal.
And he's just non-stop going, perfect screen play. And look at that, just running through every defensive player. He's not willing to go down and keep moving those legs. And
he's got 42 catches for 353 yards on the season. Anytime he gets the ball, he's essentially getting a first down. And looking for receiving touchdown number 5. And they actually spot him on the 12-yard line, so outside of the 1st and goal criteria. And Swords up the middle, pitch going to the goal line. Maybe short of the first down, but a few yards shy of getting into the end zone is Caleb Austin.
And this is that trickery on the offense. You never know who's going to get the ball. You never know what's going to happen. You just have to get ready and just prepare for anything or any run.
Gain of 8 yards for Austin for a 2nd and 2. 11 catches on the year for 126 yards. Pretty much any time he's caught the ball, he's got a first down. Didn't quite get there on that play. Swords with the handoff up the middle to the end zone. Touchdown for Brock Humphrey. Make that rushing touchdown number 4 on the season for the senior.
And that's a nice fullback run, but for this one, looks like the center run, as you like to call it here. It's usually he's in the center. Hey, when you're at that goal line, you got a big man that's able to run like that, just give him the ball and get out the way.
A 20-point lead and a field goal, a point after attempt, I should say, by Kai Gray, the junior, and flags fly. Move it back 5 yards. All right, it's on the defense actually for encroachment. Interesting how they are not taking it there to move it a little bit closer. Guess it doesn't make too much of a difference with 1 yard. See if it doesn't here. And through the uprights and perfect. And that's the only problem is there's a road on the other side of there, so they may have just lost that football.
No, I saw they just sent somebody over there. Hope it's not a child, but hurry quick, kid.
27-6, 21-point lead here in Florida for the 5-time defending national champions. .33 left to go in the first half. A 21-point lead for the Lightning over the Crusaders. Coach Barkman talked about that they haven't played necessarily as elite of a team as the Lightning. And this is caught at about the 45 and a return going to the 47. And good fielded position for the Crusaders to start out with. We talked about this start of the tournament and looking at the film study for the Lightning, they haven't played a team to this elite level, and it's certainly showing at the moment. They had a great start.
And I believe they'll do their best to bring it back. I mean, there's catch Evangel on a bad play.
We definitely need to get something going on offense here. Fake the handoff the first time. The second time, it's a gain of about 3 yards. And pushing up the middle, Lewis, who coming into today, averaged about 9.4 yards per rush. Forced only about 3 yards on the gain.
Well, that's the one thing to play. That's a 2-hour drive as well.
Another fake carry, and up the middle, managed to weave through the defense a little bit and brought down at the 44-yard line. And just that, another carry to trusted this time to Zamari Terry, and looks like he's a little bit shaken up on the play. Lightning are going to get a chance to think it over. Oh, Nate. We worked with him for years now, so able to have some fun in that regard. So it's a 3rd down and 2. I believe both teams have used one timeout at this point, so 2 remaining for both. And you can see both coaches thinking it over. And certainly, with Coach Smith, he's only had 4 losses total in high school 8-man football, which two of those coming from the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors, or I beg your pardon, the Ezekiel Academy Knights. One year also happened to took a loss against Grace Baptist Academy a couple of years ago, and trying to remember the other two losses that have been total in the 8-man football for the Evangel Lightning. And when you think at that time, 7 seasons with Coach Tim Smith at the helm, 64-11 heading into this tournament. Talk about dynasty. You talk about the golden standard. And first down here as the Crusaders try to break that golden standard. They have a long way to go. Mari Terry on the carry to bring it up to about the 42-yard line, and we have a stoppage here. Officials timeout. And it looks like we do have an injured Lightning player. That's Clay Stanton, at least able to walk on his own feet. He'll talk over to the check in with the medical trainer, and they'll bring in Carson Donovan, which we're actually talking with his father. Coach Donovan is part of the Evangel Lightning staff, owns several Cajun restaurants in the Mississippi area. He's telling us they got a 100-pound pork butt that's smoking over the next 20 hours. Not just from the amount of barbecue and smoking they have overnight. He mentioned it's the same mantra you have with the coaching staff. There's always this kind of calm confidence that the coaches have in that. Of course, they've been here. This is now their 6th time appearing in Florida for the national championship, and they haven't seemed to really skip a beat in terms of the matches they've had here in Florida.
And they had about the same guys. I mean, usually they start them out young, and then they just coach them, and they just make this culture where it's like, hey, guys, let's act like we've been here. Let's act like we won some games, and not just be too cocky about it, because it's when you're cocky is when you get the losses.
D. Lewis for carry of a couple of yards for a 3rd down and 6, but going back to the smoker situation, he was telling us it's pork butt and ribs.
Stop!
And brisket.
You're making me hungry, Spencer.
Items,
stop.
Of course, we have it covered tonight. Our director James Shannon, his wife Monica, joining us in Florida. She's making chicken Alfredo, a whole bunch of other sides. Shout out to Monica. Sometimes she watches, sometimes she doesn't. As there's a tackle there made on Zamari Terry. Doesn't get up for the first down, and it's 4th down. I think Coach Barkman wanted potentially a horse collar. Looked like it may have been there. Kind of hard to tell in real time whether it was just a slip, but it did look like he got suddenly stopped.
Oh, yeah, and whether it was a hit or horse collar, I'm willing to call it a horse collar because I did see a little yank right there from the back, but if the rest didn't catch it, it's nothing you can do about it. Just move on and get those yards back.
Brings up a 4th down on the 35-yard line. And you'll see Corbin White with players protecting him on both sides. And he'll fake it, get tripped up, and it'll be a turnover on downs. Right from the start, it looked like that play just didn't come to the fruition they wanted.
You see it's just some issues. I think the quarterback was trying to give it away, but also try to keep it at the same time. Sometimes at that moment, you just have to make the decision. You can't rethink, you can't do anything. This team will make you pay.
The Evangel Lightning will take over on their own 37-yard line. And this offense has a chance to really do some damage, already up by 3 scores, trying to go for a 4-touchdown lead. On the 1st and 10, the junior quarterback will hand it off to the junior fullback. Gain of about 5 yards.
It's just a rough one to bring down, and he's even kind of bring out his elusiveness, how he's just spinning and turning and juking everyone. Good run by the young guy.
Second and 5. Right side, another pitch, and it's loose in the backfield, picked up by Caleb Austin. You talk about also those kind of mistakes that are made. It's great discipline from the Lightning coaching staff, even if you bobble the ball or miss it, to recognize that immediately and make the decision to pick it back up.
And that's just smart coaching on there. And then the players are smart as well, just noticing that, hey, usually they tell you to fall on it instead of trying to pick it up, get it to pick back up and start running.
Does result in a loss of several yards on their 40-yard line for about a 3rd and 8. Tossed by Swords. And to the left side, avoiding the tackle is Clay Stanton, staying on his feet. I don't think he's going to get to the 1st down unless he can push the pile.
He's
Look
pushing.
at the athleticism with the push, and they'll spot him from there, essentially at the line to gain. And great stuff there. Now to the 49-yard line as the clock continues to run. Swords with some time. Left side is going to be brought down. Tackle made by Corbin White. That's the joke about quarterback on quarterback crime was mentioned there. Corbin White, double. You don't have enough numbers, so the players who are doubling both on offense and defense.
I'm sure that's tough on the quarterback as well, because he's doing all this action, but it's also, you have a little secret weapon back there just in case, you know, you have problems reading the play.
Hand off to the left side. Caleb Austin got a little bit of space. He's brought down for a gain of about 7-8 yards. And Coach Joyner trying to go with hurry-up offense here, getting him up to the line for a 3rd down and 2.
Smart, because you know this team is exhausted. Everybody's probably been on the field. It's been the same guys, so you might as well run it up tempo, get them tired, and get the going.
And incomplete pass intended for Will. Very rare. You're right. Coach Hagan Joyner, we mentioned how he was originally going to step aside with a newborn on the way. Mentioned Coach Smith called him in the offseason saying, "Gotta have you back," and also led the Evangel Blue Lightning to a Division II championship. Lightning get their 2nd charge timeout of the half, and you know, Coach Joyner, among other coaches, you see it all the time as well on their social media. The amount of pride they have for the kids they get to coach, and being able to talk about. You see plenty of the young men and how special the season is. Seems like they say it every year, and they just continue to raise that bar. Because you know, you remember back in 2020, I believe it was, or 21, when Coach Smith interviewed him at the end of the national championship, and he was in tears saying this is special, and these guys know how special this was. And you could just tell how emotionally invested this coaching staff is in their players.
Yeah, because it's almost like a family feel that you have here, and that's what you want as a player more than anything, and the coaching staff. It's not only to teach you football things, but also life lessons as well. And that's what this game is all about, and this is what these coaches give to these kids.
You know, Coach Leo Barkman saying the same thing on Extreme Talk this week. They're going to hurry up with it, and looks like he got enough of a push for the 1st down to sneak by Kemp Swords. Waiting for the ruling on the spot. They're going to stop maybe for a measurement. Yep, they're going to measure it. It's very rare you see this in high school football. Usually it's enough to where the referee makes the determination, and this is where the saying or the cliche of a game of inches comes into play.
And I believe they did the brotherly love play. You rarely see that.
Brotherly shove?
Yeah, brotherly shove, right.
I don't even think he was shoved on that play, though, but essentially that kind of mantra. I wonder how much Coach Joyner's been watching Philadelphia Eagles games for that.
I bet he's a big fan.
And with the measurement, hard to tell from this angle. I think it's a quarter of a chain link short. It's going the other way. Just by centimeters almost.
Game of inches and centimeters, everyone. You never know.
And move the other way. A turnover on downs. A great stop by the Crusaders. And they'll take over on downs. We got 1st and 10 coming up. Labor of love to get all of this taken care of. Of course, our director James Shannon troubleshooting. It's been a rainy day here in Vernon, Florida, trying to get all the equipment protected. The guys down on the sideline trying to fix stuff, and didn't even really miss anything. Just missed some in between action. So the Crusaders will take over on the turnover on downs from the 41-yard line. Toss complete. Cy Young has got some space on the outside, forced out of bounds at the 45.
That's a perfect throw by a quarterback. He felt the pressure, and he just sidearm and got it out of there.
From the 45-yard line. And the ball is loose. And the Evangel Lightning waiting for the signal. It looks like they fell on it. Clay Stanton gets the recovery, his first fumble recovery of the season.
And that's the last thing the Crusaders want, as they were moving that ball well. And now they got turnover.
Had a good defensive stand, a great first down to occur, and Evangel Lightning, they won't receive the ball for the second half. Makes it a chance for them to go up by even more points here, leading by 21. Deep toss on the right side, intended for Cade Joyner. He's got it! The junior to the end zone for the touchdown. 53 yards.
And as you see on the replay, that's just a good in and out move by him. Whoop. Faked it like he was going to catch it right there, the curl route. Instead, fading out and going for the touchdown.
Football running clock happens at 35 or more in the second half. Crusaders trying to prevent that from occurring through the uprights and actually hit off of one of the wires. Hit off of one of the electrical wires that stayed in bounds. A lucky break there, and it is no good. Wide left, so 30. .3:15 left to go in the first half. The Evangel Lightning will opt to do a high boot off, and this is returned by Cy Young, trying to find some space. He's got a few blockers, and going in the middle, he'll get up to the 44-yard line. And the Crusaders will try to get another score heading into the second half. Now the Pack Panthers await the winner of this semifinal. Got it done against the Tennessee Heat, that noon kickoff. Last couple of years, the NHSA tournament has been 4 teams only coming down. Managed to get 8 teams back in 2021. Long days on Saturday and Monday. We were working there for that. You were on call for all 8 of those games doing an analysis work. James throwing out his voice in the first match.
Hey, he gets excited. He can't help
Oh,
it. And then it fuels my energy, but I know how to use my voice properly.
First and 10 from 35. Corbin White looking. He's got pressure. Got the ball off in time and incomplete through the hand of D. Lewis. Tried to have a one-handed catch to come in. And pressure there from Grady Watkins. You know, remember that Division II bracket that James was calling in Florida, and it was on, I think, the second drive, and it was a good punt, and you just hear him belt out, what a punt, do it for the brand. I'm not going to strain my voice like he did. And I remember he came up to us after the game, he's like, I can't do this, and like, James, you just need to not call stuff. Like, I get you're passionate, but a punt in the first quarter? But he's passionate about it. He loves the kids. Yeah, loves the kids, loves covering this. He's been doing it all season long with Stream Talk on Sundays at 4 p.m. Central. And carry up the middle by D. Lewis. We'll also have a recap show of these semifinals and a preview of the national championship on Sunday afternoon. Almost towards Sunday evening, maybe like 5 or 6. Somewhere around that time, it'll be announced on the 8-Man Extreme social media. He'll interview both of the champion coaches. They'll both bring a player and get to preview the national championship for high school 8-man football and the consolation game for Monday afternoon. Here's D. Lewis trying to find a space to the outside. Collides with Caleb Austin, try and get to the first down marker, yard short here. Because of how tough it is to go against this Evangel defense.
And if they're trying to run the ball, they're there to stop it. If they're trying to pass the ball, the pressure is there. And they're getting to them quite easily and making them have to just throw the ball up to whoever's there.
4th and 1. Keeper for Corbin White trying to push through. He got the first down.
And that's all on Corbin. I mean, the offensive line gave him a tad bit of a nice hole to get through and push through for a first down.
Gives him a new set of downs at the 44-yard line. Come down a little bit again here in Vernon, Florida. Pressure on Corbin White, got the ball off. It was a little bit of a floater, and the Evangel Lightning come up big again with 54 seconds left in the first half.
Again, and no one touches this man. He's wide open, he's free, he has to do something or else just take the sack. Usually it's smarter to just take the sack, but if he's trying to play hero ball out here just to get some points on the board, throwing that ball is not the smartest thing to do.
Also looked like Corbin White had slipped out of his hands a little bit because he wasn't touched before he got the ball off. Rain coming down and starting to make the ball more slippery. And a keeper up the middle.
You can tell that this is definitely a practice there. As soon as Joyner held out, spike. Quarterback moved fast to try to get his team back together.
Point lead for the Lightning. Third down on the 46-yard left side. Finds his man in Stanton. Clayton Stanton still on his feet, even with the jersey almost being ripped off of his shoulder pad. Took 2 extra guys to bring him down, and forward progress gets it for the first down as Coach Joyner again trying to get the hurry-up play.
And as a coach, honestly, you want him to go down like that. I mean, not in a hurtful way, but you want him to get down at least because the clock is running.
Swords again, 18 seconds. Deep toss on the right side. Finds his man in Will Welch inside the 10.
Yeah, it's telling him hurry up. Oh, no. That's a perfect throw by him. Will Welch is super wide open, as you see.
Evangel uses their final timeout with 12.9 to go. And the Lightning will have a chance to think it over with a 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Not the way the Crusaders wanted it to happen with the interception. It's been a rough day for Corbin White facing off against this defensive line.
They're just too good. I mean, I don't know what it says on the stats, but I'm sure those sacks look pretty heavy when it comes to that defensive line.
Halftime coming up. We'll try to talk with Coach Barkman heading into halftime, and then out of the halftime interview, we'll talk to Coach Smith. New innovation being tried here, similar to how the SEC does it, trying to get the coach's perspective live in the game for you. So we'll talk to Coach Barkman, get that fixed for you in a few moments. Until then, radio play-by-play again. Here's Swords in the backfield with a man to his right. Don't have to go with the radio, fixed instantly. Left side for the toss, and the catch incomplete just through the hands of Clay Stanton. Stops it with 6.8.
And he's beating himself up about that, but hey, it's getting rainy. The wind is blowing a little bit. That ball's going to be pretty hard to catch in this day of weather.
.8 on a 2nd and goal. Trend for the Lightning doesn't matter whether they're in the red zone or from a large distance from it. They can find a way to score in clutch situations. Air it out on the left side. Looking for the catch. He's got it. Clay Stanton for the touchdown.
He beat him. That's a play call right there. Hey, don't beat yourself up. We believe in you. Go out there and catch that ball. And that's exactly what he called for his wide receiver, getting his confidence back.
And right as time expired, and a PAT to try and make this a 35-point difference. Correction, a 34-point difference. PAT is blocked. 33-point difference. The Fort Wayne Crusaders, and first half so far has been one-sided. A great start at the beginning. Great start at the beginning for the Crusaders, and the Evangel Lightning have just taken over here. And you see Coach Smith talking with Nate Starrs, clarify some things, and that looks like we have Coach Lael Barkman on standby with Jamie Martinez. Looks like we're having some audio issues here. Can't hear the microphone. Hopefully we'll get that cued for you. And not able to catch stuff from Coach there, unfortunately. We'll hear Jamie's thoughts on the interview at the start of the 2nd quarter. So we will be back in a few moments here from Vernon, Florida. 39-6, the Lightning lead over the Crusaders. Head down to the sideline, Jamie Martinez.
You plan on closing this one out today?
Yeah, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, try to run the football, take care of it, try not to make as many mistakes as we did early. We settled down and we played pretty well.
As for the defensive line, how can you speak on how they've done so far?
Yeah, they got after him pretty good, hadn't they? Yeah, that group right there, they'll get after you pretty hard. 3 seniors up there, and we come in with another senior, so they get after you pretty good, so I don't worry about that.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. James got the camera on because he don't know how to run it most of the time, so just making sure.
Thank you, Coach. I spoke with Coach Barkman at halftime over with the Kings Crusaders, and he said he has a great plan for the second half.
He doesn't know how to run it through the first half and everything. Coach Smith is always a kidder. Spencer Thompson, Brendan Daniel, our director here, James Shannon, producer Theodore Fernandez, Jamie Martinez on the sidelines. You got Alex Chasen running the camera and show here from Vernon, Florida, in a very Florida weather fashion day, unfortunately. I think, James, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time we've been down to the tournament where it's just continuously rained through the games. I know we had one year where it was muddy and it rained on the off day, and it just kind of made the ground surface at Pete Edwards Field a little bit more mushy. But this is the first time that it's just been continuously, would you even call this a drizzle or pouring, something along those lines? Steady rain, as James would say, but first time this happened. We're keeping the equipment dry for the most part. We were joking about this at halftime. We might need to get James' wife Monica. We might need to get the hair dryer and a large fan to try and get the stuff dried off for tomorrow. As you see warm-ups being happening there from star quarterback and Kemp Swords, a junior, being as incredible as he is. And it's interesting they made that move with Will Welch being moved from the starting quarterback position, and it's really favored them well on the season.
Absolutely. He's been great at the slot and a screen player as well. And they've even handed him off the ball a few times, and he's a great one of those key players that you just give him the ball and he's going to make some magic out of it.
And for the Crusaders, second half.
I mean, it's like he said earlier, you just have to keep your head up and just keep acting like it's still 0-0. That's the only way you're going to get back into this game. Make sure you make no penalties and make no mistakes.
I have to try and do that. It's been several mistakes, and it's just been all evangel throughout the first half, and get set for second half action here in just a few moments. And looks like Nate Starr having a talk with Coach Barkman about some rules and situations there. And Evangel special teams set to come back out here to get the second half started in this NHSA National Championship semifinal. Winner, if the score holds, the Evangel Lightning have a date with the Pack Panthers, and the Crusaders have a date with the Tennessee Heat. The first game, the consolation game, will happen at noon on Monday, 3 p.m. on Monday for the national championship. We'll have both of those games for you here on 8-Man Extreme. Underway here in the second half. In a rainy day here in Vernon. Caught at the 38-yard line. Trying to go for the return. Pushing his way to the 50-yard line and down to about the 48. Great field advantage to start. And pushing through there on the return is, of course, D. Lewis. I say, of course, because he's pretty much been the only person to contact the ball between him and Corbin Wright. A little bit of catches and rushes from Leighton Kolb, but it's mostly been the Corbin White and D. Lewis show for the Crusaders on the breakout plays that they've had.
And they're going to need a lot more of it, but they can't just keep running this ball. They're going to need some wide receivers to make some plays as well, or tight ends, whoever. Someone else is going to have to make some plays besides those two players.
Great field positioning at the 47-yard line. Corbin White on the scramble is going to go forward, and we will get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. And this is where you get into the very you get into a situation, and I say dirty football not in a negative context, but in a more muddy football. And A little bit of dirt on the jerseys and the pad. You talk about the battle in the trenches. This is muddy trench warfare.
And Evangel has been winning the muddy trench fair so far. I mean, every time you look up and see Caleb doesn't have any time, and just like that, the mistake fumble, the ball, and he had nowhere to go.
Just nowhere to go on that attempted rush, and it brings up a 3rd down and 13 for this Crusader offense. And the Russians, of course, continuing to run the clock. And you see they have a ball handler who's just trying to wipe down each of the footballs in between, but how much it's raining right now, it's not really making much of a difference, because by the time they get up to snap the ball, it's just soaked again.
And it's funny because Sam Smith, when he was asked about his D line, he kind of snarked and just was like, I know, they're some great guys, and they're proving it all right. They're getting in the
And didn't call it. That was a timeout on the Crusaders first half. 10-11 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Correction, 10-20 as the Crusaders think it over. You can hear kind of in the ambient background noise the Evangel Lightning cheerleaders. They're just sitting on the bleachers, opting not to be on the sidelines with the conditions that are at hand. You'll see a lot of them wearing the rain jackets and ponchos. A lot of these fans bringing out.
Well, they only get 3 hours to drive down here, and it's not barely any issues.
About 4 or 5, something
okay.
on there.
Okay, let's try 8.
Yeah, well, for the Evangel Lightning at least. For Tuscaloosa, from Tuscaloosa, it's about 4.5, where I'm based out of for school years. And a deep toss on the right side through the hands of the receiver. Looked like that was intended for Cy Young, and incompletion there.
And that's one.
Brings up a 4th down and 12. Crusaders trying to extend the drive. Corbin White scrambling, flag down in the backfield, still looking, slings it towards his receiver, incomplete and short, but let's check the flag. And another flag after the play. Potentially offsetting penalties. Nate Starr and company having a discussion right now about it. This crew has worked the national championships for high school 8-man football. Sure, at the very least from 2019 forward. Seen a lot of interesting games over the years in the semifinals and finals. Talking with Nate Starr before the game about the consolation game that got canceled.
Holding here is declined, so it's going to be 1st down this way. Then we have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct. Here, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So it was called after the play for unsportsmanlike conduct. And go the other way. It's just moved back from the dead ball spot. And the Evangel Lightning will take over with 10:03 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Evangel Standard is just so hard to beat over the years. The closest people who came to it were the Grace Baptist Academy Eagles in the semifinal, where it's about 1 to 2 scores, and that was without their starting quarterback, Derek Griffin. And you had the national championship for my apologies, Derek Griffin with the Ezel Harding Eagles. It was Cooper Connett for Grace Baptist Academy. And Eagles could have had, if that had gone a different way, a pressure here. One of the few pressures you have seen on Kemp Swords, and Elijah Wood gets a sack there, his 9th of the season.
And it's about time they apply some pressure to him. He's been sitting back there nicely, and that's exactly what you need as a defense. Maybe that momentum starts to swing if they get more stops.
brings it now to a 2nd and 13. And movement for the false start. Second down. On about the 27-yard line. And to the right side, that's Caleb Austin going to the right and down to about the 43-yard line. Keeps the clock running with 8:40 left to go here in the third. And whistles blown here. And injured player for, looks like Kylan Zimmerman was carried off the field by his teammates to be looked at by the. Here's now a 3rd and 2 for the Lightning. Carry up the middle. As Kemp Swords with the keeper, he'll move the chains for the first down. And that's the name of the game now for the Lightning. They just need to carry out the clock, have some rushes, and or just score another field goal or touchdown, and that will give them the mercy rule as the rain starts to come down a little bit more here in Vernon, Florida.
It's just the clock is your best friend right now if you're Evangel. Just run the ball, keep it moving.
Radio call again while the troubleshooting occurs on our video. 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line, and it's back up and running. Here's Swords. That was a carry by Austin, who's still on his feet. Almost collided with the official there and ruled down by contact before the ball came out. You can see Austin kind of collided almost with the official there. If he hadn't have been there in position, that would have been open, but officials are part of the field technically too, so have to be partially aware of it.
They got to move quick. Hey, those officials, they got to be quicker than the players sometimes. And it's kind of hard when you're older than the younger guys out there, and they're a lot quicker than you used to be.
Just over 7 left to go. As you can see the rain on the back shot. Camera showing the fans who are dedicated and standing here in the rain. Several getting ponchos out and hoodies to try and protect themselves as it continues to rain down here in Florida, about 45 minutes away from the beach. There's motion from Welch. They'll hand it off to Austin again. Austin on the right side, pushing through, gets down to about the 32-yard line. And you still hear this fan base, even with the Lightning being up by so many points, they're still getting excited on big tackles and big plays being made.
It's just fandom right there when you know your team's that good, and it's just support. Sometimes the guys just need it. They just still need that extra kick and just be like, hey, it's still a game here, guys. You still got some time left, and you never know what could happen.
First and 10 from the 33-yard line, and a mishandled snap by Kemp Swords, opts to keep it himself, and a loss of about 2 or 3 yards on the play.
Another quarterback on quarterback violence out here. He came out of nowhere and hit him.
Under 6 minutes left to go here. Five and a half left to go in the third quarter. Motion on the play. Swords is going to opt to pass it, and the catch is made by Will Welch for the gain of a few yards for a 3rd down and 8. Well, with the score holds up like this, it'll be the Pack Panthers, and that's not a good sign with Will Welch hobbling over to the sideline. Going to be looked at and hear him screaming out and lays down on the sideline. His training staff, the trainer is going to look at.
He's just a little hurt, and that's it.
And certainly that's the other challenge you have with and there's time called on the field. Timeout called by the Lightning. That'll be their first charge timeout of the half. And with 4:36 left to go in the third quarter, the Lightning will have a chance to think it over. Just over 16 and a half minutes left to go in regulation. The Evangel Lightning being very much on character with how they've been throughout the season and since 2018 when they came onto the 8-man football scene. Been around for a while, but at least since they started their run. And that carry up the middle by Cade Joyner. Gets a gain, and it'll be about a 4th down and 1. How many of these rainy games did you play? Yeah, fortunately, no lightning delays at this point. Cade Joyner to the left side. He's got some space. Cade Joyner getting the last man to beat. Touchdown for Cade Joyner. That'll enact the mercy rule. And Cade Joyner with his first rushing touchdown of the season.
And watch this key block by 57 here. Oh, no, wait, I was wrong. It's number 50, I think that's what it is.
If you're looking for 50
20. It was number 20. He had the big block and just pushed that dude out of the way, and that's the key part of why he was able to run in and get that touchdown.
I guess they will wait to run the clock until after the Crusaders will, as the kick is up. And it is through the uprights and good. 46-6, 3:49 left to go. And might also wait until after the kickoff to make a run. There's Coach Tim Smith. I mean, 7 seasons. He's going to get win number 65 heading into this weekend. And, you know, you even see when the coaching staff, even when they're going up by a certain amount, they're still giving the same sort of feedback, whether it's intense or not, to their guys. It's almost Saban-esque, where they even was listening to a story earlier this week about how Jalen Hurts, after the national or I beg your pardon, Tagovailoa, after the national championship, Saban sort of decided and said, "Why did you take the sack?" And Tagovailoa was certainly don't have those kind of moments with Evangel coaching staff, but they still have that same level of intensity, trying to expect perfection out of the players.
I mean, that's the culture you build as this coach, as this team and staff. It's like, hey guys, no matter what the scoreboard looks like, the game's not over until it's the fourth quarter and it's 0-0.
And high up, picked up at the 30-yard line. It's muffed and fallen up, continuing to run with the mercy rule. And the Crusaders will try to get something going to stop the mercy rule from being enacted, but we'll do in the consolation game. And then Evangel has a date with the Pack Panthers. I'm sure they're going to review that semifinal footage from earlier today.
And I'm sure they're going to learn to keep us safety, but also their defensive line, I'm sure they're going to be ready and prepped for the quarterback and the run play that they're going to have to deal with against the Pack Panthers.
Rain picked up. We now have wind, which doesn't make it any better.
Heavy wind, too. I'm holding on dearly to this umbrella.
It's been a little bit of a long day, and the rest of us, not just on the crew, but I'm sure the rest of the coaching staff and the players are ready to get inside after this.
Absolutely.
This is one of those not playing outside days. And to the right side with the lob sweep and trying to weave through the defense and loses the football. And it's lost, and the Evangel Lightning fall on it. 2 players tried to get it. Dean Lewis originally had the carry, and the Lightning will turn it over.
It's sad for D. Lewis because he had a great run. That was kind of the move that they needed. But That's what is this field.
I tell you, it just very much has turned into a game of things not going the way for the Crusaders. Interceptions, pressures on the team more than they used to be. But it's weird because, you know, the numbers that Kemps has shown that they are able to get a mixture of both. Speaking of which, there's Stone Henderson going to the left side is going to get a first down to the 44-yard line. But both of them expressing they're more a run-heavy team than used to, and they don't have – I don't think the word they used was reliable passer. They didn't have a more trying to remember the exact phrasing they used. Basically, they didn't have a passer that they like earlier years that they've had. And the numbers from Kemp Swords show otherwise, but they're able to mix the different schemes on offense.
And what I noticed from Kim Swords as well as I was looking him up, he's also a baseball player. So that might play a thing into it because you're just out there just tossing the baseball like that and then getting him to just throw a pigskin, sure, it's no problem.
On a 1st and 10, they will kind of have this as a direct snap. Looked like it was handled both by Swords and the runner to his left. Looks like they gave it to Brock Humphrey, the senior, who on the season is at, and I believe that is going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter as the Lightning are just heading back to the sideline. The Evangel Lightning have kept a standard of excellence over the last 5 times that they have been in the national championship. Their 6th appearance here, and only 12 minutes separate them from headed back to defend their national championship against the Pack Panthers. End of 3 quarters here in Vernon, Florida. "12 minutes remaining in regulation for this semifinal for the national championship high school 8-man football. Evangel Christian School Lightning, 5-time defending national champions, set to defend it for a 6th time in the title game as they are leading 46-6 over the Fort Wayne Crusaders. Spencer Thompson, Brendan Daniel, James Shannon, Alex Jason running sideline camera, bringing you the action from a rainy Vernon, Florida, as this carry up the middle. Stone Henderson has got playing as if they are the elite team, and they're very much continuing to show it.
And again, it's just everybody on that team doing their job. Everybody has a man, and it's just up to the running back to just do his job and find an area to run through and just get those yards.
Of course, another score just gives a chance to their backup guys at this point, rotate other players in to give some options. The clock continuing to run, so it looks like this game will get done at about 5:10, 5:15 Central, as this is a carry up the middle. Looked like it was Chase Green. Carried it up there, the senior. Got some action on the ball there for a gain of about 8 yards and injury.
Just enough time to watch not one, not, well, it is 2, possibly 3-time national championships play against.
5 straight national championships for the Evangel Lightning and an injury on the field for the Crusaders. We will step aside. Crusaders just having several players having to go to the sideline for injuries over this competition. Resume the clock. It looks like it was Kylan Zimmerman, the freshman, who is being looked at by the medical staff, hoping everything is okay with him. And time, can't think of a better term to use on that at the moment. As this carry up the middle is for a touchdown. Chase Green, his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Probably a young guy getting his chance to get in and show the coach what he's made of. And that's a just perfect play, able to just walk in with nobody touching him.
Make that 52-6 as the Evangel Lightning, and showing why they're the higher seed. It almost feels like when you have the college football playoff national championship, or sometimes that 1 seed versus 4 seed game goes one way or the other, 2 or 3 ends up being more competitive. Certainly had that earlier, as the Pack Panthers await the Evangel Lightning in a fake field goal attempt, and they whistle it dead. You saw a little bit of a smile on Nate Starr's face. I'm guessing he had some contact with the ball or something, and they ruled it dead. And because of that, they ruled the attempt no good. So 52-6 with the clock continuing to run. Well, Brendan, it shapes up the consolation game. I think should be a little more interesting in that regard. You know, the Tennessee Heat been in that competition the last couple of years. 2020, they missed it due to Southern Prep having to forfeit the game and at home due to a COVID case. And 21, they were in the mix, and it came down to I believe it was the HCA Cougars that they lost to by a touchdown or something along those lines. But Westminster Christian was a team in there that the Heat lost to, and in 2021, getting the stats up, it was Westminster Christian that they defeated and came down to a last-second toss where the Tennessee Heat got it done. And that was in the Division II consolation game, I believe. So with this return, this free kick will go out of bounds, or it's saved before it goes out of bounds there. But first off, let's talk about the consolation game. It should be, still cover all the matches, and every team that goes down to Florida is guaranteed at least 2 games. And this is one of those setups where it seems like it's going to be more evenly matched between these teams. The Tennessee Heat, same situation here where they have a lot more depth than the Crusaders.
Yeah, but usually some heart will give you that kind of push against a team like that, and we seen it during in the last game. Tennessee Heat, once they fall under, they kind of fall under and just go with it. So maybe if Tri-State can get ahead of the Tennessee Heat, maybe they can just roll on with that win and just get out of here with a good dub.
Lob in the backfield for the Crusaders as D. Lewis, the senior, tries to go to the right side. It gets a decent gain here and finally rolled down by Ari Harris, the junior. Only had 2 tackles on the season heading into this competition, gets his 3rd. And have stars on their own right. I mean, we saw earlier from guys like Humans and Essig. It's going to be one of those matchups that I think will be a little more even than it's been in the last couple of years. Tripped up in the backfield, Zamari Terry gets brought down for a tackle for loss by Reed Castleberry, the junior. This national championship should be pretty interesting.
I think it's going to be a fairly even one, but we said that before, and Evangelists ran away with it. But after halftime, honestly, we'll just see. Evangel, usually when they're down, they always figure too many weapons, so you have to account for everyone with this team, Evangel.
And toss to the right side. That's incomplete pass intended for Wrigley Lockwood. And we've got an injury update.
I just spoke with medical personnel with the Kings Crusaders on the injury of Kylan Zimmerman. They said he suffered a sprained ankle earlier in practice a little over a week ago and re-aggravated it just now. He will be out for the remainder of the game but aims to return Monday. Spencer?
It's unfortunate. You think about those aggravated injuries that come in, and Coach Barkman was talking about one of their star, I believe it was linemen or one of their offensive players, wasn't able to make the trip down to Florida. And mentioned with this Florida tournament of several other teams choosing not to come down and compete because of going, like Franklin Christian decided not to come down. I know Christian Community, they didn't win the state championship, but they went down here in 2017 when they lost it by 3. The Russell Christian Academy Warriors were winning their conference, didn't come down here. I mean, the Pack Panthers are down here, and they've got a state championship to play next week, I think on Saturday. So they're playing 3 games in the span of essentially 7-8 days. So as this goes up the middle for a first down and 10 on the 40-yard line, for the teams watching, there really is no reason why you shouldn't try to compete for a national championship and bring another trophy back to your school.
Exactly. I mean, it's the pride of it, too. I mean, let's just say you do face Evangel and you're the team to beat them. You're allowed to talk smack, at least for a whole year, to say, why not have that on your belt on top of being a national and possible state champion?
Who do you think would have given Evangel a large run for the money as there's an encroachment there? We'll wait for Nate Starr's call for that question. Franklin Christian or Russell Christian, which one would have given a better matchup if they faced Evangel in the semi?
I think I'm going to go with Franklin Christian on that. That I've heard they gave him some issues last year, so I had no doubt that they wanted to come back again this year and have a revenge game and get it up this year.
First down and 5. And this is going to be tossed to nowhere. If that's not intentional grounding, I don't know what is. There wasn't even a receiver in the area. And maybe he was outside of the pocket.
He was well outside the pocket.
And we certainly got structure and having kids play 2 games. Maybe need to get Nate Starr a shot of espresso. It's a little bit less of enthusiasm than he had in his calls earlier. 59 seconds left to go here in the game as the Crusaders call a timeout to see if they can get one last stand here. But there's this talk about the challenge of playing 2 games in the span of 2 days and the player safety issues and everything. It's certainly the way the tournament has to be structured unless you ask the teams to come back down to Panama City a week later for more rest. And there's also the question of if the NHSA would potentially grant teams the option to play their semis at their home stadium or something like that to give that kind of a rest. But for the most part, you hear people still positively talking about the tournament, even with the challenge of playing 2 games.
Even like partially during the week. I mean, why not? I mean, I know a lot of guys probably don't get.
They're honored to be down in Florida, excited for the opportunity. They had about a 13-hour bus ride to get down here and got adjusted and everything along those lines with the Evangel Lightning on the other side. But, you know, for them, their first time in the tournament, it's an exciting time for them. And certainly as they continue to get better, they may be able to get more numbers onto their team and potentially show up even more in future editions of NHSA National Championship.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have guys watching at home right now, and they're just watching these guys play their heart out the moment as you see D. Lewis running in for a touchdown after the catch, and he's just able, and you're just going to have them come like, oh, maybe we can help these guys win this national championship. You can just analyze and see certain things.
Get a 38-point difference and a great touchdown by D. Lewis, I believe his 2nd receiving touchdown on the season, and pushing through the 2-point conversion is good. So a touchdown for Pride and a little bit of momentum heading into the consolation game. But for the Evangel Lightning Panthers to defend their title. Tomorrow around 7 p.m. Central, or sometime around that frame, you'll get notifications on the 8-Man Extreme social media, but should be around 7 o'clock on Sunday for Extreme Talk. presented by Complete. That will be hosted at the Promised Land Chapel here in Panama City Beach, Florida. James will have a conversation with the champion coaches, Coach Humans and Coach Smith. Both of them like to bring either a player or two of theirs that they like to give them that kind of experience with media availability. And then Monday at noon, the consolation game between the Tennessee Heat and the Fort Wayne Crusaders. And then Monday at 3 p.m., the national championship for high school 8-man football between the Evangel Christian School Lightning and the Pack Panthers. And you can see Jamie Martinez trying to get with Coach, and perfect timing. We'll head down to Jamie Martinez with the victorious Coach. He's got the microphone on, that's for sure.
All right, Coach Smith, another big victory. I was talking to your offensive coordinator earlier. He said this is the first time really they've had a dual threat quarterback. How much does Kemp change this offense?
Yeah, he makes it special for us because you gotta account for him now. You know, most time when we had a passing quarterback, you just got to play good defense on us. But now with Kemp back there being able to run, I mean, we really got another running back in the backfield.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
National championship bound for the 6th straight year, started in the mountain in Dayton, Tennessee, and 6th time will conclude whether it's a victory or a loss on Monday in Vernon, Florida. For Brendan Daniel, for Jamie Martinez, our producer, Theodore Fernandez, our director, James Shannon, Alex Chasen running the camera on the sideline, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Tomsad saying so long from Vernon. The Lightning are